Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning in to the Nightly Sports Call. Give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600 is the number. It's claimed to be the best TV show on at 10:35 in Pittsburgh. Gene Collier is my co-host tonight. I don't think not too many people debate that, Gene.
No, and frankly, I thought it was the best TV show, period.
Period. Yeah, we got a lot of good tweets lined up tonight, and hopefully some good phone calls. So give us a call, 412-575-2600. Right now the Penguins are on, and it's 4-2, 10 minutes ago, and the Pens get off to a great start. But what I want to talk about, Gene, was the pregame ceremony. It was pretty exciting. It gave you chills and goosebumps. They put together the Penguins did a great job of putting together a video, a tribute video. It was almost 6 minutes long, but it was really something that really captured last year's Stanley Cup final run. And I think from watching it, maybe the best play, maybe the best game was that overtime winner by Chris Kunitz against Ottawa in Pittsburgh.
In the Eastern Conference Final, yeah. Well, geez, I'm sorry I missed it, Richie. But, you know, we mentioned many times on this show, the Penguins, you know, they're not the best organization in hockey for nothing. I mean, that talent includes all of their in-house operations, all of their communications, marketing, staff, video. I mean, they do a tremendous job of packaging their product, and you saw more evidence of it tonight, I guess.
Yeah, and I worked with some of those guys when I used to do the scoreboard during intermissions, and yeah, it's first class over there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of talent, and you could see it by watching this video tonight.
That's right.
So, yeah, it was a very special pregame ceremony, loud ovations for Sidney Crosby, Mario Lemieux, maybe got the loudest ovation, and he deserves it for what he's done, don't you think?
Where would hockey be in Pittsburgh without him?
Maybe the most iconic sports person ever in Pittsburgh. I mean,
we'd have to go a ways to, I don't know. Are we going to talk about that? Are we going to
I don't know.
that?
Maybe. We could debate it. I mean, if you want to, if someone wants to call in. I mean, Mario Lemieux, Roberto Clemente, Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
We got a few good ones.
Sure.
Terry Bradshaw.
Hannes
Wagner. Yes.
Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green. We got a lot of them here.
It's a 25-minute show.
I think if we get 10 calls, they might all have someone different to say. All right, maybe let's focus on the Steelers because Penguins fans are probably watching the game right now. But the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger talked to the media today, and he basically doubled down on what he said yesterday about Antonio Brown. He said, it's his job to hold everyone accountable. Do you think that being the captain, that it is his duty, or do you think this might cause something in the locker room that people, if they think it's a distraction already and now everyone's talking about it, maybe it's even more of a distraction?
Yeah, you know, this is a difficult situation for athletes. I'm glad when athletes, even if it's Antonio Brown, says what he feels, and Ben says what he feels. I mean, I think that's what the fans want to hear, so I applaud them for that. But I also agree with the column in the Post-Gazette today by Joe Starkey, an excellent column, pointing out that this wouldn't be nearly the issue it is, or it's become, without Ben. He's really the one who poured the fuel on it with that interview yesterday on the radio station. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a very big deal to me, but we're all trying to make it one because that's what we do.
Yeah, and Mike Tomlin even went, you know, maybe not as critical as Ben, but Mike Tomlin had some things to say in his weekly news conference yesterday. Now, I don't have a problem with what Brown did out of frustration if he dropped the ball or if it was, you know, he screwed up and he was frustrated himself. But it just showed maybe the fact that he's just a little selfish because the ball wasn't thrown his way.
A little selfish.
Just a little selfish.
He's also one of those guys, as he's said, not one to call attention to himself.
Well, he did.
It's a patent falsehood. But no, the issue is simple. Antonio Brown is childish and is selfish. Everybody knows that. You're going to have those things from time to time. Art Rooney, the second in the off season, referred to them accurately as minor annoyances. but there are no minor annoyances in the 24/7 news and sports cycle now. There are only cataclysmic issues.
Now, can you live with it? Can you live with these minor?
You better live with
Yeah.
it. Antonio Brown, he might be the best receiver in the history of the game when he's done. You better live with it.
Now, do you think it's maybe a problem that the Steelers have too much talent? That not enough balls? I mean, you hear that phrase and
there's only one football? Is that it?
Yeah, you hear that cliche all the time.
That's not a problem. That's a blessing.
It is. I think so, too. But I think everyone has to get on the same page, and right now it seems like you have a couple guys that want the ball more, maybe Brown, Le'Veon Bell, but I think they need to spread it around in order to be effective.
Yeah, but do you want an offensive skill player who does not want the ball?
No, you don't. So give us your thoughts if you want to call in, 412-575-2600. That in the Penguins game. It's 4-2 right now, 9 minutes to go.
4-2 Blues, we should clarify.
4-2 Blues. Yes, the Penguins did get off to a good start, but the Blues have their number right now, up 4-2. Still 9 minutes to go with this offense. Who knows what can happen? We could see overtime. Give me a call, 412-575-2600, or you could send Gene and I a tweet. Mine is @Richie Walsh. Back in a couple minutes.